too good at my job and I got fired. The firing happened on a Tuesday. Not a dramatic Friday like in the movies. Just a regular Tuesday at 2:37 p.m., when most people were battling post-lunch fatigue with their third coffee of the day. "Duncan, can I see you in my office?" Paul, my supervisor, poked his head around my cubicle wall. His face had that forced neutral expression managers practice in the mirror. I followed him, laptop in hand, already knowing what was coming. I'd been exceeding expectations for months, and in corporate America, that's dangerous territory. 6 months earlier, I joined Stratosphere Analytics as a data analyst. The job description said they needed someone to revolutionize their reporting systems. What they actually needed was Jesus Christ himself to rescue their data from the hellscape they created. Their entire analytics setup was a nightmare. 15 different people maintaining 37 disconnected Excel spreadsheets, each with their own versions of the truth. Reports took days to compile. Numbers never matched. Decision-making was based on whatever data looked good that day. My first week, I asked innocuous questions like, "Why are we doing it this way, and has anyone considered automating this?" The responses were variations of corporate speak for, "Because we've always done it this way, and that sounds hard." I've always had this problem, seeing inefficiency hurts my brain physically. Like how some people can't stand the sound of fingernails on a chalkboard, I can't stand watching people waste hours doing things a simple script could handle in seconds. So I did what any mildly obsessive data nerd would do. I started fixing things. First, I created a central database to replace their spreadsheet graveyard. Then I built automated pipelines to clean and standardize the data. Finally, I designed a dashboard that updated in real time. What once took a team of people 3 days to compile now refreshed automatically every hour. My colleagues were split into 2 camps, those who thought I was a wizard sent from the future, and those who viewed me with the suspicion reserved for cult leaders and people who enjoy kale. Paul, my manager, was initially thrilled. "Duncan, this is fantastic work. You've saved us so much time." The CEO even stopped by my desk. "I hear you're the data guy making waves," he said, slapping my back with uncomfortable force. "Keep it up." And I did keep it up. I automated more processes. I built prediction models that actually worked. I created visualization tools that made complex data digestible for even the most technically challenged executives. My sin was making it look easy. 3 months in, I noticed the atmosphere changing. What began as "Duncan, this is amazing," became "Duncan, can we slow down a bit?" Then "Duncan, we need to talk about priorities." The dashboard I created revealed some uncomfortable truths. The company's Golden Goose product line was underperforming. A recently launched initiative was hemorrhaging money. And certain high-profile clients weren't nearly as profitable as everyone believed. Data doesn't lie, but sometimes people prefer the lie. I was summoned to my first alignment meeting with Paul and Veronica from HR in early March. "Duncan," Paul began, clearing his throat, "your work is exemplary, truly. But there's concern about the pace of change." Veronica nodded gravely. "Change management is important. Some team members feel overwhelmed. Translation, you're making others look bad." I slowed down. I tried to be more collaborative. I organized workshops to bring everyone along on the data journey. I even pretended some tasks took longer than they did, sending emails at scheduled times instead of when I actually finished. But the damage was done. I'd broken the unspoken corporate rule, never exceed expectations by too much. April brought our quarterly business review. The executive team gathered in the glass fishbowl conference room while I presented the new analytics platform. I walked through how it had already identified cost-saving opportunities worth millions and highlighted growth areas no one had noticed. The CFO interrupted halfway through. "So you're saying our forecasting model has been wrong for years?" "Not wrong," I backpedaled, "just less precise than it could be." But his face had already hardened. I was the messenger with unwelcome news. After the meeting, Paul took me aside. "That went well," he lied, "but maybe next time focus more on the positive trends." "But it's important they understand the complete picture," I argued. Duncan, he sighed, sometimes the complete picture isn't what people need to see. I realized then that my job wasn't actually to analyze data, it was to confirm what executives already believed. By May, I was being excluded from meetings I had previously led. My access to certain systems was revoked for security protocol updates. Projects I'd initiated were reassigned. The writing was on the wall, projected in 100-point font. I started documenting everything. Every achievement, every cost-saving measure, every efficiency gained. If I was going down, I wanted receipts. Then came that Tuesday in June. Paul's office. The HR representative I'd never met before sitting primly with a folder. The rehearsed speech about organizational restructuring and changing priorities. We're eliminating your position, Paul said, not meeting my eyes. My position? I clarified. The one where I saved the company roughly $3 million in my first 6 months? It's not about performance, HR lady interjected. Your work has been excellent. So excellent that you're firing me. We're not firing you, Paul winced. The position is being eliminated. I looked between them. Will you be hiring another data analyst? Their silence was answer enough. They pushed severance paperwork across the table. 2 months' pay in exchange for signing away my right to sue for wrongful termination. Standard corporate theater. Take some time to think about it, HR lady suggested. I don't need time, I said, signing immediately. But I do need to understand something. Did I actually do anything wrong? Paul shifted uncomfortably. No, Duncan. You did everything right. That's sort of the problem. After being escorted to my desk to collect my personal items, a coffee mug and a sad-looking succulent, I stood in the parking lot feeling strangely relieved. The cognitive dissonance of the past months, being praised while being punished, had been exhausting. That night, my phone blew up with texts from coworkers. News travels fast in corporate settings, especially bad news. WTF happened? Did you really get fired for being too good? This place is toxic. I'm updating my resume. I didn't respond immediately. Instead, I opened a beer and reflected on the bizarre corporate paradox I'd encountered. Companies claim to want innovative problem solvers but often punish those who actually solve problems. The next morning, I was nursing coffee and browsing job listings when my phone rang. Unknown number. Is this Duncan Ferguson? A woman asked. Speaking. This is Catherine Lin, CEO of DataDrive. Your former CEO suggested I call you. Now that was unexpected. He said, and I quote, Duncan will either be the best hire you ever make or he'll completely disrupt your company. Possibly both. Care to explain? I laughed. I automated myself out of a job and made some people uncomfortable with data they weren't ready to see. She paused. How do you feel about making people uncomfortable if it's in service of the truth? I think discomfort is often the first step toward improvement. Good answer. Are you free for lunch today? I have a problem you might be uniquely qualified to solve. 2 weeks later, I started a DataDrive with a proper title, Chief Data Strategist, and explicit permission to disrupt. On my first day, Catherine introduced me to the executive team with unusual candor. Duncan is here to tell us things we might not want to hear. Our job is to listen, even when it's uncomfortable. Especially when it's uncomfortable. I looked around the table at my new colleagues, wondering which ones would eventually come to resent my efficiency, my thoroughness, my unwillingness to maintain comfortable fictions. But then Catherine continued, let me be clear. We hired Duncan precisely because his last company couldn't handle how good he was. Their loss, our gain. If you have a problem with someone excelling here, the problem is you, not them. I'd never heard a CEO talk like that. It was refreshing but also terrifying. She'd set expectations sky high. As the meeting ended, Catherine pulled me aside. They'll test you, you know. Some people can't stand having their assumptions challenged. I'm aware, I replied. Just remember, your job isn't to make friends. It's to make us better. She smiled. Now go break things that need breaking. Within my first month at DataDrive, I discovered why Catherine had been so eager to hire me. Their data infrastructure was even worse than Stratosphere's, if that was possible. But this time, I had executive support for my digital demolition. I rebuilt their systems from scratch, implementing automated workflows and creating dashboards that exposed previously hidden inefficiencies. And yes, I ruffled feathers. Duncan, huffed the marketing director after one particularly brutal presentation, are you suggesting my entire strategy has been based on faulty attribution models? Not suggesting, I replied calmly. The data confirms it. He turned red. Do you know how much budget we've allocated based on those models? Catherine interrupted before I could respond. Enough to make this finding incredibly valuable, Trevor. Think of the money we'll save going forward. Trevor wasn't convinced, but it didn't matter. At DataDrive, data trumped egos. 3 months in, our efficiency metrics were up 47%. Revenue attribution was finally accurate. And while I wasn't winning popularity contests, I was earning respect. One evening, working late, Catherine stopped by my desk. How are you settling in? It's different here, I admitted. Good different. You know, she said, leaning against my desk, I got fired from my first VP job for similar reasons. Being too good? I smiled. Being too right, she corrected. I identified a major flaw in the company's flagship product. Instead of fixing it, they fired me. 6 months later, that flaw became a public scandal. What did you do? Started DataDrive with their competitor. She grinned wickedly. Sometimes the best revenge is simply being right in the long run. A year into my DataDrive tenure, I received a LinkedIn message from Paul, my former manager at Stratosphere. Hope you're doing well, Duncan. Wondering if you might be open to grabbing coffee? Things have changed here. We've realized some mistakes were made. I showed Catherine the message. They're hurting, she deduced immediately. Probably discovered they can't easily replace what you built, or you. She was right. After our coffee meeting, Paul confessed that Stratosphere had been struggling since my departure. They'd hired 3 different analysts, none of whom could maintain the systems I'd created. The executives who'd been most threatened by my work had moved on, and the new leadership wanted me back. We'll double your previous salary, Paul offered desperately. Director title. Your own team. It was tempting, the vindication alone almost made it worthwhile. But I declined. I'm actually happy where I am, I told him. But I know some excellent analysts I could refer. Paul looked disappointed but not surprised. Can't blame a guy for trying. We really screwed up, Duncan. Companies often do, I replied. The smart ones learn from it. That experience taught me something profound about corporate America. Many companies claim to want innovation and excellence, but what they actually want is comfortable, predictable improvement that doesn't disrupt the status quo or threaten established hierarchies. True innovation is threatening. It renders old skills obsolete. It redistributes power. It exposes inefficiencies that people have built careers around maintaining. When you're too good at your job, when you solve problems too efficiently or see truths too clearly, you become dangerous to those who benefit from things staying exactly as they are. Being fired for excellence was the best career development I could have received. It taught me to look for organizations that genuinely want transformation, not just the appearance of it. It showed me the difference between leaders who use data to confirm biases and those who use it to challenge assumptions. Most importantly, it revealed that sometimes the most valuable skill isn't technical expertise or problem-solving ability, it's knowing when to push for change and when to let people catch up to your vision. At DataDrive, Catherine often reminds her leadership team, if you're never uncomfortable with the pace of change, you're not changing fast enough. I've taken that philosophy to heart. I still build systems that make inefficiency impossible. I still deliver uncomfortable truths wrapped in irrefutable data. But now I do it for people who understand that discomfort is the price of progress. Today, Stratosphere's stock is down 34% year over year. DataDrive just closed another round of funding at a $1.2 billion valuation. Being too good at your job might get you fired. But being fired might just lead you to where you're actually meant to be. Sometimes, excellence is punished. But eventually, it finds its proper home. The end.